Hi there, welcome to part 10 on a series of videos I'm doing about discussing Julian Huxley's book Essays in Popular Science and his brother's work, Aldous Huxley's book A Brave New World. I'm comparing the two, and in these final videos I'm actually going to start to read from A Brave New World, little bits of that, and then compare. I'm really kind of new to all of this, so I didn't know how long I was going to drag this out. I think with me, I start something, I say, oh, it's going to be like just a little video, and then I kind of expand on it, and I can't actually tell how long I'm going to take. But thanks for bearing with me if you've been watching these videos. So let's look at some of the main key points in A Brave New World regarding how people are made and conditioned. I mentioned in the last video about the cloning process, and it's called I think it's called Bokanovsky's process, if I pronounce it right. It's like a Russian type name, Bokanovsky's process, and that is basically splitting the embryos from something like from 8 to 96 buds. So they split, and on average they split 72 times on an average. So you get one embryo and you can split that 72 times. So basically you can create 72 people from one embryo, and they're basically the same, they're just copies, like clones, right? The gammas, the deltas and the epsilons go through this process, but the alphas and betas are spared it, I believe. So so that's what goes on there. The other one is the hypnopedia, which was the programming of the subconscious. When the children are finally reduced, they go through this process of being programmed subconsciously in their sleep. And the Pavlovian type experiment, if they want to get them to detest playing outside in nature, they will create a negative response to their response regarding nature, so electric shock and things like that. When they show them the picture of a flower, and then they get electric shocks, and then when they show them the picture again of a flower, they cry, and that kind of thing. That goes on in the book as well. On the programming though, subconscious programming, they say TV does that anyway. It puts your body into a trance-like state where it can program you subconsciously. All the symbols you see on the television, that can program you. So that can be included in the hypnopedia in a way, can't it? So here we go. I mean, I'm going to just read a little bit of the first chapter, and then, like I've done before, I've highlighted and underlined the relative points. And I'm not going to go into too much detail, otherwise I'll be forever I'm not going to read through the whole book. I haven't delved into this as much as I've delved into Julian Huxley's book, but I know the basics. So, but just to give you a little feel, let's just read the first few pages of the chapter. Here we go. A squat grey building of only 34 stories. Over the main entrance the words General London Hatchery and Conditioning Centre, and in a shield the World State's motto, Community, Identity and Stability. So this is describing the kind of hatchery room where people are produced in London, because Aldous Huxley was an Englishman, wasn't he? And his brother Julian Huxley, these were English people, English biologists. Here we go. The enormous room on the ground floor faced towards the north. Cold for all the summer beyond the panes, for all the trouble heat in the room itself. A harsh thin light glared through the windows, hungrily seeking some draped lay figure, some pallid shape of academic gooseflesh, but finding only the glass and nickel and bleakly shining porcelain of the laboratory. Winteriness responded winteriness. The overall of the workers were white, their hands gloved with a pale corpse-coloured rubber. The light was frozen dead. A ghost only from the yellow barrels of the microscopes did it borrow a certain rich and living substance, lying along the polished tubes like butter, after a lustrous streak in a long recession down the work tables. And this, said the director, opening the door, is the fertility room. Bent over their instruments, 300 fertilisers were plunged as the director of hatcheries and conditioning entered the room in the scarcely breathing silence. So basically, the director of hatcheries, DHC, they call it, stands for that, is showing these people around the process of how people are produced artificially. Here it reads, "Begin at the beginning. These," he waved his hand, "are the incubators," and opening the insulated door, he showed them racks upon racks of numbered test tubes. The week's supply of ovia kept, he explained, at blood heat, whereas the male gametes, and here he opened the other door, they have to be kept at 35 instead of 37. Full blood heat sterilises. Rams wrapped in thermogene beget no lambs. Still leaning against the incubators, he gave them, while the pencils scurriedly across the pages, a brief description of the modern fertilising process. Spoke first, of course, of its surgical introduction, the operation undergone voluntarily for the good of society, not to mention the fact that it carries a bonus amounting to 6 months' salary, continued with some amount of technique for preserving the exercised ovary alive and actively developing. That's relevant today because people often, they say that people are becoming less fertile. We've got so many fertility problems, and people are having to go to, for fertility treatment, aren't they? They're basically, women are having to, extract their eggs and etc., and then have it fertilised outside and then implanted in their bodies. So they're going to the science now already, and if this increases more and more, then more power to the scientist in the power elite, isn't it? So where was I? For preserving the existing ovary alive and actively developing, passed on to a consideration for optimum temperature, salinity, viscosity. Don't know if I pronounced these words right. Referred to the liquor in which the catched and ripened eggs were kept, and leading his charges to the work tables, actually showed them how the liquor was drawn off from the test tubes, how it was let out drop by drop onto the specially worn slides of the microscopes, how the eggs which it contained were inspected for abnormalities, counted and transferred to a porous receptacle, how, and he took them to watch the operation. This receptacle was immersed in a warm bouillon containing free swimming spermatozoa at a minimum concentration of 100,000 per cubic centimetre, he insisted, and how after 10 minutes the container was lifted out of the liquor and its content re-examined. If how any of the eggs remained unfertilised, it was again immersed, and if necessary yet again. How the fertilised ova went back to the incubators where the alphas and betas remained until definitely bottled, while the gammas, deltas and epsilons were brought out again after only 36 hours to undergo Pokonovsky's process. Excuse me. So there, Pokonovsky's process here. Pokonovsky's process, repeated the director, and the students underlined the words in their little notebooks. One egg, one embryo, one adult. The normality, that's the old-fashioned way of doing it, right? Natural way. But a Pokonovsky-fied egg will bud, will proliferate, will divide from 8 to 96 buds, and every bud will grow into a perfectly formed embryo, and every embryo into a full-size adult, making 96 human beings grow where only one would grow before. So there's that artificial process that I'm speaking of. And he's saying here, progress. Essentially, the DHC concluded, Pokonovskyification consists of a series of arrests in development. We check the normal growth, and paradoxically enough, the egg responds by budding. He pointed. On a very slowly moving band, a rack full of test tubes were entering a large metal box. Another rack full were emerging. Machinery faintly purred. It took 8 minutes for the tubes to go through. 8 minutes of hard X-rays, about being as much as they can stand. How much time have I got? A couple of minutes. Okay. I'm going to skip a little bit and read what I think is relevant. 2, 4, 8. 8. The buds, in their turn, budded, and having budded, were dosed almost to death with alcohol. Now, this is where they make the lower caste. They use alcohol to limit their intelligence and their growth. So we're controlling the development of the embryo before it's reaches adult, which is crucial because Julian Huxley was talking about the control of growth. Control of growth can mean intelligence and physical growth, can't it? So used alcohol. Consequently, burgeons again and again, and having budded, bud out of bud, were therefore further arrest, being generally fatal, left to develop in peace. So basically, yeah, they dousing them with alcohol, so it's not fatal, but seriously arresting their development. Yeah, he says here a prodigious improvement, you will agree, on nature. So controlling nature here. Identical twins, but not in piddling 2s and 3s, as in the old viviparous days. I don't know if I pronounced that right. That means just natural reproduction inside the womb of the female. When an egg would sometimes accidentally divide. Actually, by dozens or scores at a time. So instead of just having accidentally 2 identical twins, you've got scores of them. And here he reads, Bokanovsky's process is one of the major instruments of social stability. Yeah, major instruments of social stability. Right, I'm going to stop there and continue, just read on in part 11.